We all have things that we regret, right? From buying that expensive item on a whim to waking up to a pretty rad hangover. It's safe to say that everybody has their own guilty decisions, and as it turns out, large television corporations, they're no exceptions. They're not. It's pretty common for producers to get greedy, and like I always say, greed causes rush decisions, and rush decisions causes cringe. And, you know, that's what I'm all about. And, you know, when there's cringe, there's me lurking in the shadows, ready for it to wash over me like lotion on the skin. So when it comes to the popular opinion, one would say that popular shows such as The Office, Family Guy, or even the in-between shows like Adventure Time or Regular Show, they're all pretty well received amongst the majority, right? Right. Now, what would you say if I told you that all of those shows are based off of the success of other shows? Yeah, you didn't see that one coming, huh? As most of all television shows, the producers are always watching, they're always waiting, they're listening to whoever and whatever the fuck that they can to get their ratings. So what happens when you take the success and just completely fuck it up? That's a really good fucking question, right? So that is where we start our story here. This is going to be done a little bit differently than normal. Usually I play a clip and then comment on it, but I actually did a lot of research on this topic. I actually took some time to make a good video for you. August 23rd, 1998, Fox would air a show that only in its first season... Sorry about that. And only in its first season would capture the hearts of nearly 11.7 million welcoming Americans. And for the rest of its time on air, no season would drop below 5 million viewers. So you can best believe your bottom dollar. It was a pretty successful show. That show was none other than the 70s show. Basically, it was a show made in '98 that portrayed the lives of several teens set in the 70s. It was pretty mild-mannered. It was actually a mild stepping stone for Fox, in the least, to enforce their future sitcoms. Big Bang Theory. Listen, so you know and I know that I'm not here in front of you to talk about a successful TV show. You know that I'm not here to do that. It's quite the opposite, actually. I'm here to talk about one of Fox's many cringy failures. It's actually impressive just how bad it was. One thought, I watched all 13 episodes, and every 10 minutes, I had to curl up in the fetal position or simply just pace with my fingers on my temples because I was having aneurysms. It was bad. It was really fucking bad. So I had to endure 13 30-minute episodes. Yeah. It was just pure fiery garbage, and I'm asking you right now to go hit that subscribe button because I endured a whole lot of shit for this. I had a whole bunch of aneurysms, so go freaking subscribe. So all that being said, what I'm going to be talking about today is Fox's greatest idea ever, that 80's show. Okay, so in between the third and fourth season of that 70s show in 2002, Fox happened to notice just how well received that 70s show was. And I guess they decided that a ripoff was in order. You know, Fox love making us here at home smile. Yeah. I say that with sarcasm because Fox just wanted their fucking money. What I found weird about it was that Fox didn't wait until that 70s show ended. Spoilers, the very last episode of that 70s show, them celebrating New Year's as they came into the new year, into the 80s, the show would come to a conclusion. And I thought that was one of the most successful and satisfying conclusions to a TV series. I'm not even joking. It was actually really good, and the final episode was really well received. You know, it's crazy how well received it was. But you get into the depth, darky, murky waters of that 80s show. It just all becomes super, super convoluted. So like I said, between the third and fourth season in 2002, they realized how well that 70s show was doing, and they were like, hey, why don't we just make a spin-off of something that's doing very well and just completely fucking ruin it? When we talk about the cast of that 70s show, right? You have a whole bunch of people that basically made the show. Like the cast of the show is what was the charm. That was what we needed to make that 70s show great. Fox, they found this whole cast for that 70s show, and it made everything right. It had a really good formula. So you had the nerd, the feminist, the idiot, the burnout, the angry dad, the goofy dad, the loving mom, the retarded mom, the first dad, second dad, Tommy Chong, and of course the comedic relief or target for your occasional racist joke, the foreigner. I mean, even the side characters were great. It was a solid cast, and they made it work. But you get into the convoluted waters of that 80s show, and my god, the cast, it literally consisted of like 7 or 8 characters, and I am dead serious. Look it up.
I've got bad news. Sophia and I are finished.
Aww.
Yeah, I've got some bad news myself. Kids, Mother and I split up.
You see, this is living proof that putting a laugh track behind anything actually makes it funnier. It literally had like 7 characters. 6 people I don't know in Glenn Howerton. I will mention that through all of this, that yeah, the show delivers its fair share of cringe. But this was one of Glenn's debuts, and it worked because he plays Dennis in Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which for some reason is a successful series. I don't know why. I don't understand that. Fuck, It's Always Sunny. Just fuck, It's Always Sunny. Fuck him. He was actually pretty freaking successful when it came to this, and none of the other ones. I don't know. I personally don't know any of the other actors. I've never seen any of them in any other media. That's for you. Beauty's in the eyes of the beholder. You go ahead and you fucking deal with that, not me. That 70s show had a formula of making fun of the 70s, but it also embraced the 70s. It was that 70s show, the 70s was their child, you know? They did this through pop culture or, you know, reminiscent puns. Fox thought the baby formula that they were given one show, that it would work on another, and it just didn't. They would say they embellished on this formula, which the definition of embellishment is to make something look large and beautiful. But Fox would say they embellished on this, and I would say that they were not embellishing on the nostalgia at all. They were exaggerating on the nostalgia that wasn't even there, because this series came out in 2002. I want you to think about that. The series came out in 2002. And that 70s show didn't end until 06. Yeah. The formula ripping on the 80s and relying solely on 80s references, it grows old. It grows extremely, extremely old. And it's the basis of all 13 episodes. Literally, somebody took all of the jokes that you could for the 80s, put them in a giant fucking bag, put this bag over somebody's head, and then started beating them over the head with a baseball bat. That's what Fox did to the formula that 70s show did so well with. It couldn't capture the magic. That was basically it. It just, in the long run, in the long scheme of things, it just could not capture the magic. You want to talk about the timeline? What makes all of this shit so fucking convoluted was that it was set in 84 and not in 86. That 70s show, the first episode was in 76. It started in 76. That 80s show, it started in 84 for some reason. I guess they thought they were going to get 2 extra seasons that 70s show just didn't have, but it just didn't work. It didn't work. It only lasted for 1 fucking season. So I found, that's just a little nugget that I found was really weird. So, poor Glenn Howerton, he plays the main character, Corey, and This character is a musician that's out of work, working in a record store to help his career along, I guess, to make him a real musician. That's the whole premise of his story, is that he just wants to become a real musician, and he works in a record shop. I noticed that halfway through the series, which is only one season, mind you, the total story, it just shifted. It went from Corey and his friends to Corey and his girlfriend and their shitty problems and their shitty relationship. It made all of his friends side characters or minor characters, and it was very confusing. And that's really all I have to say about the storyline. It's so hollow. Like, there's nothing there. There's no content there. It's just nothing but bombardment upon bombardment of 80s jokes. And I love it, but at the same time, the fuck. So I've got a question for you. Amongst all of this, do you have claustrophobia? This show, it gave me many aneurysms, but it was also inducing minor forms of claustrophobia. And I say that because it only had one. It had one main set, the record store, and it had a whole bunch of it had 3 or 4 other minor sets. But most of it was taking place either in Corey's house or the record store. Just imagine a show being able to make you suffocate. I felt kind of suffocated. I mean, and then you get to that 70s show. You had locations out of the wazoo. You got Eric's house, his basement, the school, the diner, the water tower, and a few others that I'm not mentioning just for the sake of time. That's really all it had one main setting. And why? Was it under budgeted? What was going on? But Zach, the story may be bad and the settings are under budgeted, and I'm sure the characters were very relatable and consistent to make up for all the terrible. No. Get out of here with that logic. This show was bad. The world is black, white, and gray. I hate people, and I wanted to die after watching this. The characters were so unrelatable and boring that it was almost alien. Like, why? Why? It's like they didn't even try. I kept getting introduced to characters that I never asked for. One by one, up to 6. Up to 6 characters. Each one, they were making me hate the last one more. So I just kept getting introduced to people I didn't want to fucking meet. I didn't want anything to do with them. I don't know what I really wanted. To be honest, I don't know what I wanted. I don't know what I was expecting. Just for joke's sake, it's funny to mention that Kelly Clarkson decided to make a guest appearance even though she wasn't famous at the time. This was all before her American Idol debut, and I just thought that was funny because she played a background character, a singer actually. And it was fitting. It was very, very fitting to see Kelly Clarkson just fucking ruin her shit on this show. And as you guessed it, being 13 episodes long, it only aired for a whopping 4 months before deciding to commit suicide on itself, which that's not impressive or uncommon for Fox. I mean, shit. Here's a list. Pretty long list, right, of failed Fox TV shows. So it's very common for our Fox to just fuck their shit up. So as you can see from all this damning evidence, Fox has a history of jumping the gun, investing in the wrong things, and being lazy, raping our eyes, and causing autism. This was a product of all that. That 80s show was just a failure. It just didn't stand a chance compared to its predecessor. It didn't. They couldn't. There was no way that you could make something like that better. All that was thrown to me, I managed to find some common ground. There was one episode I found that was less cancerous than the rest of them. I think it was episode 5. It was called My Dear Friend or some shit, My Dead Friend. Basically, Corey is talking at a funeral or speaking at a funeral, and he doesn't know the person that's dead's last name. However you fucking say that. I've got a speech impediment. Quit making fun of me. He speaks at a funeral and doesn't know the person's last name, and to me that's funny as hell because I've just got that kind of fucked up sense of humor of putting somebody in a really fucked up situation like that. Nothing else made any of this show better. It was the worst TV show I've ever had the pleasure of witnessing, and it made me want to kill myself.
I don't know how this show happened. I don't.
Alright, so all of that being said, if you enjoyed this content, don't forget, I watched 13 whole 30-minute episodes of this, so I need you to go hit that subscribe button, hit the bell. I need that bell there. Click it, because I desperately need your support. All that, I will see you in the next episode of whatever the hell I'm doing when you decide to put your king on my James. Have a good day.